All right, I want to make sure this microphone is working. Yep, it's working. Let me bring it closer. So, hello everyone, it is me, MrGamingGuitarist, also known as Jaren, and which is Aaron with a J in front. Lots of people try to make it more complicated than it actually is. So, my plan for this live stream, because I haven't been really active on YouTube, and this is my way of jumping back into it. For me, the one thing that I really want to talk about is the All-Star game. I don't know if any of you watching care enough about basketball, but basketball is a big part of my life. I've been a giant basketball fan forever, since I was a kid, but then I stopped after Michael Jordan retired, but The Last Dance brought me back in. So since 2020, when the Lakers won the championship in the bubble, I've been watching every single season ever since that one. So the one thing so far that I'm trying to figure out is the All-Star game. Like, I'm sure everyone also has the same opinion, but I just wasn't a fan. I started to get really bored during watching the game, and my enthusiasm just went down the further the game progressed, because I miss the days when the All-Star game used to be really competitive. I miss those days. Because these days it just feels like everyone on the teams are just messing around. However, I will say I did like that it was an East versus West format this time, instead of having team captains. I wasn't really I didn't like that. I guess, some people just might think I'm too old, but I prefer when the All-Star game is just East versus West. But I think it was really cool, though, to see Damian Lillard win back-to-back at the three-point shooting contest. I thought having the Steph versus Sabrina event was pretty cool. And I don't know who mentioned this. I think it was Kenny Smith that said this, but I really want to see. I think it would be cool if they did that, where if they did a 2 versus 2 matchup with a 3-point shooting contest. If they had Steph Curry back, but you teamed him up with Damian Lillard, and then you had, I don't even know how to pronounce her last name, but if you had Sabrina, and then I think, because I don't pay attention to the WNBA, so I have no idea, but I've heard a lot about Caitlin Clark, who's supposed to be like the greatest 3-point shooter in women's college basketball. I think if you did a 2 versus 2 match with those two, I think that would be pretty cool for next year. The dunk contest, it just seems to get worse and worse every year. Because it felt like it was obvious that Mac McClung was going to win back-to-back. That felt pretty obvious. Welcome to the chat room, guys. Welcome, Fingle Dingle, Skate Punk. Oak, welcome back. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Yeah, Oak, it's I'm doing good. Still doing the whole Uber driving thing, but I've been talking a lot to Think Before You Sleep, and he has been a great mentor. It's almost like, I know we're talking about basketball, and but yeah, he's been a great mentor for me so far. All the advice he's been giving me has been excellent. But yeah, Oak, I've been doing good. How are you doing? Because right now I'm just waiting, not waiting, crap. And this is the part that I need to get used to doing again, being able to do these live streams, because I've noticed I've lost my rhythm. I mean, it's weird because I don't lose my train of thought as much anymore, especially when I'm driving for Uber, when I'm picking up passengers. Things seem to be going pretty well with that. And I think it's because right now, like, I would say I wouldn't say I'm stable financially, but oh yes, Oak, yeah, he is definitely like that is like one of the great synchronicities that has happened since I began, meditating and doing the whole visualizing, because it really feels like he him giving me really good advice is like the manifestation of all the times I've been meditating daily. It feels like that was a product of it. And also being able to play bass in my current band. I've been with them now since November. That's been great. Yeah, because I noticed if I just title these live streams as just chatting, I get way more viewers than I do when I'm just, if I title something with me playing bass or me playing various games. I'm trying to start meditating every day now. You feel like it's helping a lot in your personal life. That's amazing. Because, yeah, the people that I recommend, I say this over and over again, but I feel like I have to keep saying it so that people can understand how great these people are. But Joe Dispenza, Aaron Doty, another guy I like to watch, his name is Clark Kegley. Actually, I'll just write them down. Give me a second. Those five guys that I just typed in the chat room, Joe Dispenza, Aaron Doty, Dr. K, Clark Kegley, Michael Singer. I feel like those guys are really are excellent when it comes to talking about meditation, just using aspects of spirituality to really make you more self-aware, but also using that awareness to just overall feel much better about yourself and about life. Yeah, Dr. K is great. It's like the first time I watched Dr. K, it was he felt like, I don't know the right way to describe it, but it's like the first time I started watching him back in 2022, it's like every single thing that he was saying just resonated with me. It's like, yeah, I go through that. Yeah, I go through that. I go through that. It's like I don't know what it is, but he just has an incredible way of relating to his audience. Like, he is, in my opinion, he's one of the absolute masters of his field when it comes to talking about mental health issues within, I guess, within my generation, for the millennials, but then people younger. I'm doing really good mentally these days. I'm playing in my band, and if you haven't seen that video, I recommend it. I posted a song, well, it's not like an official recording. It's just a video of us rehearsing one of our songs, because I feel like that's the song that we're the best at playing. That song is called Feel Good. I'm the bass player. Alex is our drummer. Anthony's the singer. Eric and Logan are the two guitar players in that band. Oh yeah, Orotu says, I've been practicing Reiki with the channel called Healing and Beyond. I've been feeling much better recently. Yeah, I watched that channel as well. That channel, Healing and Beyond. It is absolutely incredible. Yeah, because that guy is amazing to also watch, because I like to watch those videos and treat them like a meditation, like whenever he just uses the crystals, and it's great. It's so funny because when I was a kid, when I was younger, I would have thought that all of that stuff is just a bunch of baloney, but now I'm a firm believer in all that stuff. Yeah, because 2023 has been the biggest amount of growth for me, I would say, mentally, spiritually, and growth on YouTube as well. I I'm just really happy with the way that things have turned out. And Matthew says, "Hey man, you're definitely someone who I see a lot of myself in. I just turned 18 and it's rough out there, and we're both improving." Hey, I'm glad to see that you're improving, because and the fact that you're doing this now, all this stuff now at 18, like if you haven't watched those guys that I mentioned, I don't know if you're able to see that in the chat room. But yeah, Joe Dispenza, Aaron Doty, Dr. K, Clark Kegley, Michael Singer. If you just watch any of those guys on YouTube, because those guys helped me go from where I was before to where I am now. Yeah, I highly recommend them, because if they were able... Oh yeah, Matthew, yeah, I just says I discovered your channel via Think Before You Sleep. Yeah, because I was stunned because so many people were recommending I watch his video, and I had no idea who he was. And then he said to get the chance, he said he would mentor me, and I couldn't believe it, but I didn't know how to get in contact with him, so I had to log in to Twitter for the first time, and I don't even know how long, but I went in there, messaged him. Now we're in contact with each other, and it's been great. Because let me see here. Aru2 says I'm getting better on guitar as well. It's been a year for me. That's great. Because for me, the hardest part when it comes to playing guitar, or watching lessons, like being completely self-taught, just watching lessons on YouTube, is it feels like there's not enough structure to it. Because you'll get a little bit of information from one video, then you'll get more information from another video. You don't know how those two connect to each other. That's why I really want to save up and watch an online course from a lot of the famous guys on YouTube, like watching Paul Davids or Rhett Scholl. But I haven't seen, and there's also Tyler from Music Is Win. I watch his channel. But really, I would say the one thing that stopped my guitar progress the thing that really stopped my guitar progress or really hindered it is I just got too obsessed with gear on YouTube. All I would do is just watch like demos of different pedals or amps. Like I would just watch like Rob Chapman or BM Assad. I grew up watching those guys and like Andertons. I would just watch their videos and like videos similar to that instead of actually sitting down watching lessons and practicing. And I feel like I'm paying the price for it now because now I'm playing bass in my band and I feel like I'm the least talented one in the band. But then I heard something from watching Rhett Scholl where he said, if you are the least musically talented person in your band, that's a good thing because it gives you even more opportunities to learn from the other people in the band, which is great. Oak says, you've definitely improved with your stream interaction style now. Feels a lot more natural. And like you said, you can feel the silences easier. Well, I would say like it feels that way when I'm more in life in general. Like when I'm going out, it's much easier to fill silences because that's like the number one thing that I want to work on. Or I am working on it. I'm getting better at it, uh but I guess the best way to describe it is I don't feel so hopeless when it comes to social skills, meeting people. I just feel so much better. Vegetarian, welcome. Yeah, it's been a while. I think I'm planning to stay around here for maybe an hour. Let me see here. Rotu says, how's the elbow wound? Oh, I think it's pretty much, it's almost healed. Hang on, let me, where's the camera? Okay. I need to bring my OBS page up to my other monitor. So I can, yeah. This is my elbow now. It's definitely there. Like it's not 100% healed, but it's definitely well on its way to getting healed. Like you can see the mark there. It's like it's now a shade of pink instead of turning completely back to white again. Let me see here. Let me add the chat to OBS. That way I'm not going back and forth between the whole thing. Also, I've been listening to, it feels like I've really been going back to my roots with music where I like it feels like the past week I've been listening to Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver a ton because I owe so much to I would say I owe so much of my life to Slash because if it wasn't for Guns N' Roses and if it wasn't for Slash, I never would have become a guitar player. I never would have become a musician. I never would have fallen in love with all these rock bands from, I guess it's weird because when I would call Guns N' Roses classic rock in 2008, people that were there from the 80s when Guns N' Roses was brand new, they were, they, it was amazing. Like, and now I lost my train of thought. Let me see here. Yes, Terminator 2 did a Guns N' Roses reference. That's because crap. Yeah, the song You Could Be Mine that was on the soundtrack for Terminator 2 when you hear John Connor with his motorcycle. I don't think it was a motorcycle. It was like some kind of dirt bike. He was playing that song. I think his friend was like holding the boombox. That was great. Catherine, welcome. Oh, Layla, hi. Welcome to the stream. Yes, you could be mine. That's oh, if that okay. I really want to play along to that song, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Yes, Use Your Illusion. That was Use Your Illusion 2. I think that was actually the last song on Use Your Illusion. So I went to see Guns N' Roses in 2017, and man, I was like a kid at a candy store when I saw that show, because I remember in 2000, yeah, when I was in seventh, or was it seventh grade, or I was in seventh or eighth grade, I believe. I think it was seventh grade. I remember getting Slash's autobiography, and that was when I learned about his story, because this is when there weren't like documentaries for everything. So that's how that book was how I got to learn about Slash, and like learning about all his, you know, his background, how his mom was a costume designer. I think his dad was a manager for different bands. And fun fact, if you didn't know this, so Fairfax High School in LA, that is the Slash, Lenny Kravitz, Anthony Kiedis, and Flea all went to that same high school. But I don't think that they knew I knew, of course, I knew Anthony and Flea knew each other. That's how they met. That's how they became friends and started the Chili Peppers. But I don't think Slash or Lenny interacted with each other. It's So Easy that's a great one. I think Rocket Queen is my favorite Guns N' Roses song. But even better is the newer live versions, because they really extend the middle part, because that scene when like that middle section of Rocket Queen, when you're hearing Slash, she's using a slide during the solo on that song. It was incredible. But on the live version, they extend that, and I don't think Slash uses a slide when they play that, or at least when it was him with Miles Kennedy when he's out with his solo band with the Conspirators and they perform Rocket Queen. They extend that to like 10 minutes long, and it's just Slash just going off. Just it's so good. It's so good. I recommend you guys watch that. Like the live version of, and fun fact, it was also during Rocket Queen. I think it was St. Louis, 1992. Axl Rose just walked off stage because there were some fans like that were being jerks, and then Axl went home and a riot started. St. Louis. There's footage of it, because I remember watching footage of that back in 19. Yeah, I remember watching footage of that like 2007, 2008. I also remember in 2008, my parents got me a DVD, because this is back when you could just go into Best Buy and buy concerts, DVDs of concerts. They got me Guns N' Roses from the Use Your Illusion tour in Tokyo, 1992. But I think this whole getting back into there was another riot in Montreal, which is funny because usually the only time I hear about riots in Canada is whenever hockey teams lose. I never learned to play Rocket Queen, but I've got my bass and I can learn it. It would be cool to do a cover of it. So it started off with me just like last week, I just started listening to a bunch of interviews with Duff McKagan, because I'm playing bass now. I got to learn more about the bass player. And I mean, I've watched interviews with him before and stuff, but I never really took a deep dive into learning more about Duff's story. And I learned about how he's from Seattle originally, and he moved over to LA. And he said that within like 8 months of moving into LA, he was renting an apartment for $200 per month where his roommates were all cockroaches. Yeah, I think I heard something about, like you said, Montreal, or I remember hearing, I think it was, what was it? I remember watching on Netflix, there's this show I really like. Well, there's a chef, David Chang. He did an episode where I think it was called, it was just a Netflix show. It's called Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner. And he has like celebrity guests, kind of, like a food show. You just go to a city, eat at different restaurants. So that show had Seth Rogen on it, and he was giving him a tour of Vancouver. Yeah, it was the Maple Leafs, because I don't know much about hockey. Like I would like because I heard about riots after the Maple Leafs. I think that's the team, right? Toronto Maple Leafs. They lost like the Stanley Cup, and then there was a riot in wait, it's Vancouver, right? Is it Vancouver or yeah, Vancouver? I think the team is called the Maple Leafs. I don't. Wait, I think Vegetarian is from Canada. It's yeah, I think you would know if you know hockey. It's I think that's what they're called, right? The Vancouver Maple Leafs. If that's the team, forgive me if I'm wrong. I just the Canucks. Oh, the Canucks. Okay, so I don't know why I was thinking the word Maple Leafs. Are the Maple Leafs from Toronto Maple Leafs? Okay, I see. Yeah, it's just strange because it's so weird because, and here's the thing, my PS5 is once again in the pawn shop because I didn't have enough money to pay for my Avis car rental for Uber, so I had to put it in there. But it's so strange because I feel fine, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, which I hate saying that word older, even though I'm only 29, gonna be 30 in May. But I really do have a strong feeling my 30s are going to be better than my 20s. I'm getting that intuition. I'm getting that feeling. Cuz yeah, cuz I was talking about something and then I forgot. I was mentioning earlier shit. I forgot. I was saying something about I feel like my 30s are going to. Oh yeah, the PS5. PS5. Yeah. Uh Kev Gaming 420 says, I've started watching your channel a lot over the past week and I love your videos, man. You also play bass and do YouTube. Oh, that's great. Thanks for watching the channel. Yeah, I've only been playing bass for about 3 months. Like I would mess around on bass a little bit. Let me see here. Oh yeah, yeah. Logan just shared a screenshot because in my band we've got a group text going on, and he says, "Hey, look, Jaren's live," telling the other guys. That's funny. Oh man, oh, you've been doing bass for 2 weeks, but you love it. Oh, that's cool. Have you ever? Do you play any other instruments, or is it only bass? Or is bass your first instrument? Because I've been playing guitar for 16 years. Is it 16 years? Hang on. I started playing guitar in 2007. Uh, yeah, playing it since I was 13. So 13 plus, wait, 13, 23. Yeah, it is 16 years. We're going to be 17 years soon, which is hard for me to believe. Oh, bass and ukulele for about a month. On ukulele. Yeah, I also play ukulele. I haven't played it in a while, but it's just because the strings are tuned differently on a ukulele, so it just throws me off. Because it's like C, I think it's like C, G, E, A from the lowest to the highest, even though the highest string is a C. On the lowest, it's but it's just because it feels so tiny to me. It throws me off. But I went to karaoke night at a different place, farther away than the usual place I go to. You waited until you're 36 to start, but you're glad. Hey, it doesn't matter what number your age is, because I used to really have a chip on my shoulder about that, because I used to think, oh, I need to be financially independent before I'm 30. I need to be able to do this and this and this and this and this. But what I realized is none of that crap matters at all. Like, none of that crap matters. It's like, because here's the thing, right? In my band, I'm the oldest one, and yet I don't feel like I'm the oldest. I just feel like I'm one of the guys, and I just have a good time. I mean, Mick Mars is the oldest. Well, it sucks. He's not in Motley Crue anymore. I hate how like legal crap is getting in the way of it, which really hurts, which really sucks to see. But yeah, Mick Mars is another one of my heroes, because I love Motley Crue so much. Like, I mean, Looks That Kill, Live Wire, Too Fast for Love, Dr. Feelgood, House of Pain. They got a ton of great songs. It's funny that you say Mick Mars sucks for suing Motley Crue, because lots of people think it's the other way around. But, you know, we all have different opinions, which, if we all like the same thing, the world would be boring. Austin's here, Jin is here. Welcome, guys. Yeah, Mick is ancient compared to the rest of them. He's too old to tour. I mean, yeah. Well, I kind of feel like Mick Mars a little bit, because I'm 29, and by the time the first Motley Crue album came out, Mick was 30, I think. Yes, I love Rush. I love ZZ Top. I love Led Zeppelin. Kevin Miller, we're speaking the same language. Jin says I'm in my early 40s and still feel as young as ever. Crazy Vice says, how are you doing, champ? I'm doing good. I haven't done a live stream since, I think, February 5th, I want to say. Yeah, because I've been watching, because I started the stream off and I didn't get any of you guys to, I didn't have any people in the chat, but now I do. Because I watched the All-Star game live for the NBA All-Star game, and it just doesn't feel the same anymore. It's like, it just feels like guys are just walking around practicing doing trick shots instead of actually instead of actually competing. Because I remember watching the 2003 NBA All-Star game, and that was Michael Jordan's final All-Star game before he retired. And I remember that was incredible, because he had Kobe, rest in peace. You had MJ, you had Shaq, you had Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan. Like, those guys, it felt like they were actually playing. And it sucks to see that. But I mean, for the novelty, it was cool to see the score go to 211 when the East won. That was cool. Kevin says you're 23. You listen to that, so you grew up with it. Oh, that's cool. That's great. Enchanting Empress of Light. says, "Do you bop to any hip hop or rap? Saw your guitar session. Wondered if you ever played bass for any hip hop." Well, I've never played bass for hip hop, but my story with hip hop is really interesting, or not interesting. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I just use words to fill in space, and it doesn't make a bunch of sense. But so I didn't start getting into hip hop and rap until I want to say, I don't remember what year. I mean, honestly, I don't think it was until like 2019, because in 2019 I started, or no, it was 2018. Yeah, I saw this documentary called "The Art of Rap." I think it was done by Ice-T, and he's like, uh, and I don't know who said it, but because before because I was an ignorant kid, I used to hate anything that wasn't classic rock. I just wanted it, like in my, like back then when I was a teenager, if if there were no guitars, no bass, no drums, like pretty much no real live instruments, I wanted nothing to do with it. I was like, get that stuff out of here. I want nothing to do with it. But then I started to get into a lot of synthesizers. And then all of a sudden, synthesizer became probably my second or third favorite instrument. And the cool thing was that opened the door, opened the gateway for me to learn about digital stuff, about digital music. And that's when I learned, okay, just because it's not a live instrument or because it's digital, just because you can't see the notes as they're being played, I quickly learned it doesn't make it any less valid, because, using, beats and samples together, that's just another tool in the toolbox, just like a guitar, bass, drum kit, piano, keyboard. It's all tools in the toolbox. Because my best friend, Keanu, he's able to come up with songs, and like his production is, it's not the greatest, but the fact that he can get ideas across and he can come up with songs, like just putting stuff together in GarageBand, it blows my mind. Like I would never come up with the stuff that my friend Keanu comes up with. Like it blew my mind. It was like, holy crap, Keanu's a better songwriter than me, and yet he doesn't really, apart from drums, he doesn't really play any instruments, but his ear just knows how to combine stuff together, how to arrange stuff. And I was so impressed the first time I heard him come up with, so he said, I made this stuff all with GarageBand on my iPad, and this was back in 2012. And I was like, Keanu, this is amazing. Like the fact that you're able to do this. And then, anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I was talking about hip hop. So that documentary, The Art of Rap, I think it came out in 2011 or 2012. It was, that was, that there was a guy in there, and he said, when he was growing up in the early 70s in the Bronx, he didn't have, oh, Kev Gaming 420 just subscribed, thank you. He said that his parents, they were poor, they were broke, they couldn't afford instruments. Like you couldn't afford a guitar or a saxophone or a piano or a bass or anything, or a drum, or let alone a drum kit. Which, by the way, I don't know how, I mean, these days, today, I can kind of understand, like, people, like, making music in New York City, like, if you're in an apartment in New York, but back then, like, Kiss or Anthrax, or, like, the Ramones, or the New York Dolls, like, how the hell were they able to practice? Like, how were they able to learn their instruments? Because you're bringing a guitar and an amp, amps, and they didn't have like headphones. Like they don't have like these modern day like plugins that sound like really great guitar amps with the audio interfaces on their laptops. They didn't have that stuff. So how did musicians practice? That blows my mind. I don't even know how that happened. But anyways, as I was saying before, when it comes to he said his parents could not afford instruments, but what they had was a turntable. And that turntable became their instrument. So pretty much, and so once I started to learn about it from that perspective, where using the turntable as your instrument, and that's like the roots, the foundation of how hip hop began, I started to have a whole completely new appreciation for it. And so I started like, I don't have a ton of cassette tapes. I mean, they're down here somewhere, but I've got cassette tapes from like Run DMC and oh god, my brain is going blank. And I've got cassettes for Ice-T. So kind of like how it was for me in guitar, where I started with the classic rock. I'm kind of starting from classic hip hop, where I'm starting from the 80s and then the 90s. Yeah, because I love the Beastie Boys, but you're saying, hang on, Enchanting Empress of Light says 3-6 Mafia, Migos, Tyler the Creator. Okay, I've heard of 3-6. Wait a minute, was 3-6 Mafia? That was I don't remember. Crap, I'm forgetting. But Tyler the Creator, I've heard of him because he had a show on Vice before. On Vice, the Vice TV channel. I think it was called Viceland, or I don't know if they still have it, but pretty much Vice used to have a TV channel. And I remember Tyler the Creator had a show on there, and I remember watching the episode where he got to design his own Converse One Star, his own signature shoe with Converse. I thought, oh, that was pretty cool. But if you had to if you were gonna ask me who my favorite rapper is, for me it has to be Snoop Dogg. Now my knowledge is very limited, but I grew up like I knew who Snoop Dogg was like since I was a kid. Because I remember what was it? What's that song? You know, Drop It Like It's Hot. I know that song. But I also know that he did a reggae album where his name was Snoop Lion. I like that one a lot. I've heard some songs from it. But, you know, hip hop is a completely different world, so it feels like I'm at square one. I've listened to Jay-Z, and I like him. Like I haven't listened to his newer stuff, but I've heard oh, I forget, like it's been so long, but whatever the classic album is, like from, I think it was from 2000, 2001, something like that. But yeah, I love the Beastie Boys. But I would say Red Hot Chili Peppers were the bridge for me for getting into hip hop, because feels like really the Red Hot Chili Peppers predate the Beastie Boys, because the first Chili Peppers album was 1983, and that kind of felt like the first time you really heard a rock band. But I don't even know if you would even consider the Chili Peppers from the early 80s, back when Hillel Slovak was alive, may he rest in peace. I think they were considered more like a funk band in the 80s. And so hearing instruments, like hearing a live band with a rapper, like really, if you think about it, that might have been the first time that happened, was with the Chili Peppers. But because back then, if you because it's similar thing. Oh wait, really? The Chili Peppers are rapping? Yes. If you listen to like the very first album, or Freaky Styley, or Uplift Mofo Party Plan, those first three albums, Anthony was rapping the entire time. I think the first time he ever really sang was the song, I think it was called Behind the Sun or Beyond the Sun. Uh, yeah, check out early Red Hot Chili Peppers from the 80s. Nikki Hunt, Chaser Wave. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the chat room. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, Enchanting Empress. I think I'll just call you Empress instead of saying that full thing live. But we were, I almost spoiled something from my band, but I'm gonna hold it back because I was about to say mention a cover, but not gonna do it because our singer Anthony, he's really into hip hop. I mean, like when we did our photo shoot, because we did an official photo shoot for our band, so that's how you know things are really moving. But we did the song when he had an Ice Cube shirt on. Well, I mean, vegetarian. It's like they used to be fun and energetic and all over the place. They really slowed down. I mean, they are in their 60s. Well, John, it's funny to think of John Frusciante as the baby, but like he's like what, I think 53 or gonna be 54 soon. I mean, I get it, but for me, like I still love the Chili Peppers. Like for me, like I was so hyped up when John came back to the band. Uh but yeah, Chaser Wave. Yeah, we're going to have Cobra Strike. We're gonna have social media. We're gonna have our account and stuff. I'll let you guys know whenever we get all that stuff set up. But I'm forgetting what I was gonna say. Again. Give me a second to think. Oh yeah, that's right. Unlimited Love was my bet for me. Of course, that's why I say for me. It was my best album of 2022. Actually, let's okay. So I've been tracking this since 2019. So for me, my favorite albums. Oh, here's some recommendation time for me. I wrote all this stuff down on my phone. I wrote down all these lists. If I type in album, favorite albums. Let me see here. So I'll tell you my favorite album okay, I just saw a question I can answer right away. James Hart says Diamond Dave or Hagar. She's referring to David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar, who were the two singers in Van Halen. Also Michael, wait, why did I say Michael? What I knew is Gary Sharon from Extreme. By the way, the album, I'll get to it. Okay, so I would say I prefer, I mean, when I first started listening to Van Halen, I did not like Sammy Hagar. Because I was first exposed to Van Halen from the David Lee Roth, that first era. So, like, I would say my favorite songs from the Roth era. I mean, you name it, like Panama, You Really Got Me, Atomic Punk, On Fire, and The Cradle Will Rock. I mean, Hot for Teacher. I mean, that first Van Halen album is permanently branded into my subconscious. I love like Van Halen 1, Appetite for Destruction. I wouldn't be the person you're seeing right now if it wasn't for those two albums, discovering them in 2007. But anyways, I would say I prefer, of course, I would say I liked the songs with David Lee Roth better. But, you know, the older I get, I'm really enjoying the Sammy Hagar songs. Like, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, that is my favorite Van Halen album with Sammy Hagar. I think Judgment Day is my favorite song on that album. Like, it's because you could feel the hype from that album because, like, Eddie just got his Music Man guitars, and I believe he just got the first PV 5150 amps, and you can feel it. And now I'm starting to enjoy both of them. It's like completely different things. It's like different. You know what? If we talked about Eddie Van Halen, he's like, if we're gonna compare this to protein or to compare this to cooking, it's like you take the one guitar player, take the band as the protein, or like if you're cooking something, you know, taking a steak or a chicken breast or a salmon fillet or whatever it is. Imagine Eddie, Alex, and Mike and Michael Anthony. Imagine those guys as your protein, right? Your meat. And imagine the David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar as the two different seasonings, you know, or the marinade. I'm enjoying both now. So I didn't before, but now I really do. Because Sammy Hagar is coming to Houston, and he's calling it the Best of All Worlds tour. And let me see. I mean, well, classic rock, I mean, that's up for debate. But I mean, Greta Van Fleet is the newest band. They're one of the newer bands. I love them. Wolfgang Van Halen has a band called Mammoth. It's, yeah, I mean, Cobra Strike is a rock band. So, or, yeah. Yeah, crazy how some projects can change the trajectory of your life. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Bob Marley is another guy that I really want to get into because I know who he is, obviously. I know like a couple of his, like, you know, the most famous songs, but I haven't taken the dive into Bob Marley yet, but I really should. Because I know that there's that movie coming out, but I just think it's really funny. I forget his name. Oh yeah, I think his name is King. The actor's name's Kingsley Ben Adir. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's from England, or I think he's from England because or it sounds like he's got a British accent. The interviews I've seen, he played Gravik, the main villain on the Marvel show on Disney Plus, Secret Invasion, and it's so funny to see him go from this villain. And by the way, that guy was the best part of that show. There's so many people that might say, Marvel sucks, blah, 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 blah. You know, people that want to ride the bandwagon. But his performance on that show was great. Like, that guy can play an amazing villain. I also think he was also in the Barbie movie, which I haven't seen yet, but I have to see it. But it's just so funny that the idea of the guy who played Gravik in Secret Invasion is now playing Bob Marley. But hey, I know that guy's a good actor, and I don't know if the Bob Marley movie is going to be any good, but I can already predict his performance is going to be great in that movie. I mean, yeah, I mean, hey, everyone has their own opinions. I mean, Skate Punk says disgusting. There isn't more rock these days. I mean, there you gotta look for it. I mean, even though these bands are not new, but they're newer to me. I mean, Hailstorm, amazing band. Like Lizzie Hale is one of my inspirations. Like she is singing that good and playing all those guitar riffs at the same time. Um, but Noble Savage says classic rock is completely boring compared to traditional heavy metal and power metal. Anything from Dio era Black Sabbath until the newer bands that are so uplifting. It's funny though, because if it wasn't for classic rock, I wouldn't be who I am. Like Led Zeppelin, the Beatles. I mean, I'll give you my. I mean, the Beatles, Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers. That is permanently stuck. That is locked as my permanent top 5 because those bands have such a huge, major impact on my life. But then after that, it's I mean, you name it. What? I'll just start naming stuff off the top of my head. These are all bands that I grew up with that I love. Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Alice in Chains. I guess, yeah, we could start with those Seattle bands. Rage Against the Machine, Audioslave, Velvet Revolver, Stone Temple Pilots, Eric Clapton, Cream, Lenny Kravitz, of course, you know, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, love them, love Iron Maiden, love Motorhead. Of course, I love the Rolling Stones. Of course, Pink Floyd is amazing. A fun fact, I actually used to have a pair of course, AC/DC is amazing too. But I don't know why I'm showing you guys my shoes, but anyway, yeah, these are the boots that I wear. I got these boots because there's a zipper on them, easy on-off access. But I saw John Bernthal in the Punisher show in season 2. I noticed he had boots with a zipper on and thought, that looks cool. Let me try to find some like that. So I've had these now for 5 years already. Rush is incredible. I love Rush. I like Rat. Yeah. All that stuff. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Of course, I gotta support him. But you know, it's when there's 3 different I wouldn't say 3 different generations, because so Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eric Johnson. Eric Johnson, Stevie Ray Vaughan, they're from Austin, but also I guess some people are calling him the face of modern blues guitar, Gary Clark Jr. If you have never seen Gary Clark Jr., you owe it to yourself. You got to watch him. He is incredible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I heard that John Bernthal is coming back to the MCU, so Yeah, I'm in a much better uh headspace now, Empress. Yeah, it seems like most people that watch me now came to me from that video with 700,000 views. Yeah, because it's like a double-edged sword, because it sucks that people saw that video and that's their first impression of me, which that's not the real me. But at the same time, if me, like, not caring, just going on camera saying whatever was going through my head at that moment, I just put it online, and 700,000 views later, it got me to now we're at 15,900 subscribers, so which is incredible. It was relatable. It's funny because that's crazy though, because when I would look at the comments, which I don't do that anymore, because here's the thing. Number one tip for anyone that wants to, and number one tip for any person that wants to make a YouTube channel, don't read comments. That is a very fast ticket to depression. Just don't. Because you could see one good comment, one nice comment, but then you see one negative comment and it's like they're saying something about you that then all of a sudden you start feeling bad. And then for me, that would take over the whole day, and then I'll be in a bad mood. I'll be upset. And it's funny because those are people that took the time out of their day to write something crappy to make you feel horrible. And it's so funny because they didn't even understand there's a guy, an actual human being with a life, reading that stuff. And it got very toxic very quickly. And then that's when I made the vow. I am not going to read comments. I got that from watching a lot of comedians on podcasts, because I love stand-up comedy. I love it. That's like the things that make me, the things that make me me, I would say, things on the outside are music, movies, television, video games. I love entertainment, and I'm just really lucky that I ended up falling in love with music, and I wanted to do any of those things for a living, and I'm just so happy now I'm in a band and I get to do that. But I used to think that I would be a guy like John Campia. He was a big influence of mine. He would watch, because he reviews movies and he talks about movie news, kind of like ESPN, but for movies and TV shows and things like that. Empress says, "You had me laughing so hard on some of them videos I was in tears." Hi, Chastity. Welcome to the stream. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be streaming for because I've got to start eating dinner soon because it's 8:26 p.m. But I will say I didn't eat breakfast, which helped me a lot. Chaser Wave says, "Do you watch any UK stand-up comedians?" Yeah. Of course, first one that lots of Americans are probably going to say like me is I love Ricky Gervais. He is so funny. I wish he could do the Golden Globes every single year, but he doesn't. But it sucked watching. It sucked watching Joe Coy bomb at the. Well, I don't know if he bombed at the Golden Globes, but he was. You can tell the all those famous actors and actresses had sticks up their asses because he's not from Hollywood or he's not established, but he does Joe Coy, and it sucks because Joe Coy, he's like me, he's half white, half Filipino. I'm half white, half Filipino, so it was cool to see Joe Coy, but on the Golden Globes. But then I don't know, but I'm so excited to whenever he does his next stand-up special because Joe Coy doesn't need Hollywood. Like he tours arenas when he does stand-up, and it's gonna be really cool to see him talk about his Golden Globe experience during his next Oh, by the way, Chastity, it's spelled Cobra with a K, Mortal Kombat style spelling. Let's see. Hang on, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, vegetarian says he does a lot of out loud affirmations. Yeah. Uh, I wouldn't necessarily do the out loud affirmations, but what I like to do is oh, thanks for watching the stream, Empress. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. So you'll know whenever my stream comes back or whenever I upload again. Yeah, I do a lot of the, and I'm losing my damn train of thought again. So when I go to sleep, there's one guy, like another guy that I look at as a big inspiration is there's this guy, his YouTube channel is called Elmer O. Locker Jr. And his grandfather got to see the seminars from Neville Goddard back in like, what was it, the 30s or the 40s. And Neville Goddard is a real, I think some people call him one of the real pioneers when it comes to talking about the law of attraction and manifesting. And because Neville Goddard is famous for doing this one exercise where as you go to bed, start telling yourself, I will not climb a ladder. And then you keep climbing it. But like, imagine yourself not climbing a ladder. And then that guy, Elmer O'Locker Jr. said a couple days later, he ended up climbing a ladder. And that's when he started to really begin to believe in manifesting. Because before, whenever I would go to sleep, because going to bed is the prime time when you really want to focus and like put on I recommend that guy because Elmer Locker Jr. That's the YouTube channel name, but he named it because the guy who does the videos, his name is David O'Locker, and he is the grandson, but he named the YouTube channel after his grandfather. But yeah, that guy was huge for me because as I started falling asleep, the biggest thing I noticed is even if I'm not consciously trying to visualize and do all of that stuff, you just have to close your eyes, just really focus and listen. And I know it's going to be hard maybe the first week that you do it. But for me, like, because meditating or even hypnosis works really well for me too. You can watch this guy, I think his name is Zach Pinsent, like Zach Pin. Hang on, I'm gonna look this up because this is a giant pain in the ass that I can't remember it off the top of my head. Zach Pinsence. Yeah, Zach Pinsence. Pincince. That guy. He that was watching his videos and following along with him. That was the very, very first time I ever felt hypnotized. And then I realized that and meditation are kind of, I don't know if you would say hypnosis and meditation are the same thing, but I would say they're definitely related. Like if I would call meditation chicken, I would definitely call hypnosis turkey, if that makes any sense. They're both birds, kind of similar things. But yeah, I would recommend that channel. Elmer O'Locker Jr. That guy, David, that guy is incredible. Like, if I was ever able to talk any of these guys, if I was ever able to like make videos, just talk to them, like get the chance to interview them. If I got the chance to talk to Dr. K Aaron Doty, Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, or Michael Singer, or Clark Kegley, that guy too. Like, those guys changed how I think, changed my approach to life. They got me into spirituality in a real way, not in a way that I would, because I used to avoid anything that said spirituality on it because I used to think, this is for hippies. But it wasn't until I watched Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza for the first time, because I believe I started watching them on the same day because they were on my YouTube homepage recommendations. And everything that Bruce Lipton said, everything Joe Dispenza said, it all felt like they were describing me better than I could describe myself. And it was following through them. That's why I really started to get on that guy in the chat room the last time on February 5th, Gergwerg. Gergwerg, if you're here in the chat room, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're in a much better place and you started listening to the things I was recommending, because he was really down and talking in the chat room, saying that he was feeling like, he was just very depressed, being bullied. He was 18 in high school in his senior year. I really hope he's doing better now, because, and you guys, if you haven't watched it, you can go back and watch my last live stream from February 5th, the one that was also called Just Chatting. That was because that's the thing is, like, I know what works for me, but I guess what's really frustrating is when I see people who really need help and it feels like everything I'm telling them just goes in one ear and out the other. Like, that can be very frustrating, because I can tell this guy needs help and he just, like, get that. I was telling him Michael Singer's book. Damn, and I'm forgetting the name of that book right now. Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul. That was very eye-opening, very mind-opening. And just watching the guys that I already mentioned, Aaron Doty, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, like, I told him, I was trying to tell him, Gergwerg, trust me, watch all of that. Watch all of that. And then he would just say, how is that going to help me? It's like, you got to try it. And, so that's the part that I want to work on too, is when people, it seems like people are asking for advice, and yet the things I'm telling them, and they don't even seem to be wanting to put in the effort to listen or pay attention. That's when it feels kind of, I don't know. Oh, hey, Dandon, welcome to the stream. Rip LimeWire says, what are your thoughts on Radiohead? I know who Radiohead are, and of course I know the song Creep, but I don't. If you want to know a guy that loves Radiohead, Keanu, my best friend Keanu. He loves Radiohead. Because there was this one, he was telling me, summer of 2007, the In Rainbows album came out. He learned all about them, got really into them, loves them a ton. I just haven't gotten into them yet, so that's another band I need to take the dive into. Arceon, I will respectfully disagree with you, because don't say manifesting is kind of a lie, because manifesting works for me. If you think it's a lie, maybe it's because you tried doing it, tried the whole visualization stuff, and it just didn't work. Like, yeah, because for me, like, it took a solid year of constantly, like, a bare minimum once per day, listening to a guided meditation and really thinking hard and really trying to imagine what would it feel like, and that's what I was doing. It's like, what would it feel like to have you know, 1 million subscribers on YouTube? What would it feel like to, what does it sound like whenever, like, what does my voice sound like after I have 1 million subscribers and I'm there? And it's like, you really have to feel like you already have the stuff. And I know that that's a hard concept for people that are not into it, but it's like you have to, because before, you know, it's like the exact opposite of how I used to think, where it's like, well, I'll believe it when I see it. But now I have to feel it, I have to believe it, and then I will see it happen. But Vegetarian says you should do a full moon burning on the 24th. Next full moon. Write down any bad memories and burn the paper under the moonlight. You know, I've heard about stuff like that. Action, he says, actions are what make things happen, not manifestation. All right, I'll do what Hopper told Eleven in season 2 of Stranger Things. I'll meet you halfway happy. Because it feels like when I'm visualizing as I am meditating, that visualization gives me a boost of energy, of feeling how it would feel to have the things that I really want. And that boost of energy then inspires me to take action. And then after taking action, putting the work in, then that's when all the things ended up manifesting themselves. If that, so, you know, it's kind of how it feels for me. Anyway, you know, of course, you know, I'm not trying to throw shade at you, Arceon. I'm just telling you my process. But this is how I know I've grown so much, Arceon, because what you were just saying there before, if this was me even 2 years ago, I would have started screaming and yelling, saying, "No, it's not. You're wrong. That's not how it works." It's just like I would, but that's how I know. It's like that's how I used to see it with negative comments a long time ago. Like whenever I would see a Rotten Tomatoes score for a movie that I'm really excited for, and I see it sucks, and then all of a sudden I feel horrible, and it makes me not want to see the movie. But now I don't pay attention to scores for anything. Unless we're talking about the S Squad game, that game, Kill the Justice League. I could just tell watching that gameplay, I don't want to play it, and Rockstar, corporate, you could tell that game was ruined by corporate interference. Just like that Square Enix Avengers game by Crystal Dynamics was ruined by corporate interference. But anyways. Oh yes, journaling. I haven't done oh, you know what, guys? I want to tell you you know what? This is how we're going to end the stream. I wrote down a journal entry in 2020 that I'm going to read out loud for you guys. Actually, I think, or no, I'll just, you know what? I think I should start recording this as a separate video. Oh, give me 1 second. Hey, everyone. It's me, MrGamingGuitarist. I am currently recording this video while I am live streaming because an idea just popped up in my head, but I wanted to give you guys a real look into how, if you want to see how different, like, because there's some people that might not think that I've made all this growth and stuff, but if you really want to see where my head was at in 2020, I wrote down my thoughts. Okay, here we go. All right. So I wrote down my thoughts on April 23rd, 2020. I'm going to read this out loud to you guys. Because Arceon mentioned journaling, and this was, I guess, I don't do it regularly, but I really should at least once a week. Anyway, so this is my thoughts from April 23rd, 2020. This was like 1 month after the pandemic began, and like I was already a depressed person back then, but I'm going to start reading it now. I feel trapped. I can't leave my home other than to get groceries or fast food. If I could, right now, I would pack a bag of clothes and just start... You know what? Let me just pre-read this just in case there's some wild shit in here. Hang on. All right, here we go. All right, okay. I feel okay with reading this out loud. Here we go. Thoughts from April 23rd, 2020. I feel trapped. I can't leave my home other than to get groceries or fast food. If I could right now, I would pack a bag of clothes and just start driving to any major city to start over again. I feel so sick to my stomach that I can't escape my current situation. I just want to leave so badly. I want to go to LA or New York or hell, even Austin, just so I can get away from this bullshit of a life I have. But I can't because the whole country is under lockdown because of this. Okay, because of this effing V word. And by V word, that's spelled VIRUS. I don't want to say that word out loud because I have a feeling YouTube algorithm's going to start messing with everything. Continuing on. It almost feels like God or whatever you believe in is punishing me. I just have to sit here and keep laying down on my bed, continuing to watch movies and pretend that I'm okay when, what? And pretend that I'm okay. God, my grammar was bad on here. Sorry. And pretend that I'm okay, even though I am nowhere close to being okay. I can't say this word on YouTube or else I'll be demonetized, so I'll say my self-deletion thoughts keep coming back. But then again, I have no reason to self-delete myself. There's too many movies, too many games that haven't come out yet that I want to experience. I know that makes me sound so damn shallow saying that movies and video games I haven't seen or played is the only thing keeping me alive, but that's the truth. I know that this isn't me. I'm not the one writing all this. It's that damn depression. The worst thing... I don't want to say that out loud. Okay. I don't... And, alright. The next sentence says, I don't know how to slay this dragon. I need help, and I'm sorry for being a pain in the ass, writing yet in... Why the hell did I say I'm sorry to myself? Whatever. And I'm sorry for being a pain in the ass, writing yet another depressing post, but this is me. This is what's taken over me. I thought I could get rid of it by myself, but I can't. Okay, so that was me on April 23rd, 2020. Now, I know I'm in a much better place, because when I look at that, I can't even relate to that at all anymore. And that's just a great reminder that no matter how bad things might feel for you, listen, if you're at rock bottom, the only place you can go is up. And I feel like I am living proof of that. Because if you saw those older videos, you know, the one with 700,000 views, because I don't want to say the damn title out loud because because I want to move on from that. I mean, I feel like I've moved on from it, but sometimes, you know, people just want to mash on their keyboards. Did you get a girlfriend yet? 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 It's like, it almost feels like those people remind me of, I don't know, the early 2000s people that would grab those, Us Weekly or In Touch, those weekly, I don't even know if those magazines even exist anymore, but sometimes it's like, you have to realize, when I made that video, that was the old me. What you're looking at now is Jaren 2.0 beginning his formation. It sounds weird referring to myself in the third person. I'm not going to do that again. But anyways, all of that stuff, like, you can see my progress. Like, all the videos I made from like 2023, if you don't believe me, if you somehow are just now watching this video after watching my viral video, the one with 700,000 views, I'm so glad that I discovered that journal entry, because it reminds me, holy crap, look at the progress I've made, and I can continue to make even more progress from here. So if anyone out there is also struggling with depression, I've got some recommendations for you. All right, I've already mentioned this in the live stream, but, you know, I'm also recording this, so I'm going to be uploading this as a separate video. I recommend to watch these people, okay? Dr. K from the channel Healthy Gamer GG, Aaron Doty, that's D-O-U-G. I'll put the links in the description. Aaron Doty, Joe Dispenza. I mean, any of the podcasts or interviews that he did are fantastic. Bruce Lipton, which was really the first guy I saw, because it almost felt like whatever kind of spiritual awakening I went through, learning about meditation and your energy, the different frequencies, because it feels like that entire time I was in such a low frequency, and now I can finally feel myself when I'm me, like I'm me right now, I'm myself. When I'm feeling good, like kind of like how I am right now, I can tell it's like there's an energy. Energy is a real physical thing, and that's when I started learning about manifesting. Anyways, so those channels, the other channels I recommend, Elmer O'Locker Jr., that guy is incredible. And I also recommend, I said Bruce Lipton, and Clark Kegley. Clark Kegley also talks about all this stuff, but I can really relate to Clark because he ended up, he's a guy that always wanted to tour with a band. And then he finally ended up thinking, oh, okay, maybe it's not going to happen. But then he did a drum cover for an Andrew WK song. And then Andrew WK's management saw it, emailed him, said, we need a drummer. Can you fly over to LA and be our drummer for some shows? And he got to do it. And he got to play drums with Andrew WK. And so I really like watching him a lot because I can relate, you know, he's a drummer, I'm a guitar player and also a bass player now. I'm also wanting to be a singer, and my voice sucks, but, you know, it's another thing to improve on. But anyways, all of that, yes, Star Traveler, yes. All those people I mentioned, Aaron, Joe, Dr. K, Bruce, Clark, they all explain me better than I could explain myself. So I'm telling you guys, watching those guys worked for me. Maybe those guys can work for you too. I can't promise anything, but That was my process to go from being depressed to where I am right now. And I highly recommend those people try it out, see if it works. And if it doesn't, that means keep finding other methods. Because let me tell you, once you start to believe in a better path, that's when it will happen. It all starts with your mindset. It starts with your thoughts. It all starts from the inside. You can't look for sources on the outside to improve how you feel, to feel better. It all starts from within, and you have to start there. And once you learn to get to that place, realizing everything starts from within, then you'll okay, I tried to say something at the end, but then I completely ruined it. You know what that just reminded me of? That kind of reminded me of Larry David when he was hosting SNL, when all he had to do was introduce Ariana Grande and he couldn't even do it, when he would just say, "Ladies and gentlemen, Ariana," and he couldn't just say the last name. And then, anyway, not that I'm trying to compare myself to Larry David. Curb Your Enthusiasm is amazing. Seinfeld is amazing. If you never watched those two shows, you owe it to yourself. Anyway, my name's Jaren, also known as MrGamingGuitarist, and that's everything I have to say, because it feels like if I keep going on, I'm just going to start rambling, and I'll start making less sense as it continues on. But anyways, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.